A massive new Chinese embassy was supposed to be a landmark of diplomacy right in the heart of London. Instead, it's become the center of a huge national security scare, with fears of espionage literally built into its foundations. Let's break down exactly what's going on.
So, here's the big question the British government is wrestling with. Is this proposed super embassy just a symbol of international relations? Or, as its critics are warning, is it something far more sinister, a potential launchpad for economic warfare against the UK?
And this quote from a key political figure, Elisa Cairns, really gets right to the heart of it. You see, this isn't just some vague suspicion. The concern is based on some very specific and pretty alarming details found in the embassy's own blueprints.
So, what makes this whole project so controversial to begin with? Well, it all starts with the sheer size of the thing and the incredibly strategic location China has picked out for it.
For what's set to be its largest diplomatic mission in all of Europe, China chose a really significant spot. We're talking about the former Royal Mint, a historic landmark located directly across from the iconic Tower of London.
And they put some serious money behind this plan. Beijing bought the site for a cool £255 million way back in 2018. That's a huge investment, signaling just how important this new headquarters is to them.
But the real firestorm ignited when something that was never supposed to see the light of day was suddenly discovered. The original, completely uncensored blueprints for the building.
Now, just so we're all on the same page, redaction is just a fancy word for blacking out sensitive information in a document, usually for security reasons.
And that's exactly what happened here. The official plans that China submitted to the local council were covered in black bars, heavily redacted, citing security. This meant nobody outside their team could see the complete, true design of the embassy.
But then, a bombshell. An investigation by the Telegraph managed to get a hold of the original unredacted plans. And for the very first time, everyone could see exactly what was being hidden behind all those black marks.
And what those plans revealed was pretty startling. First, a massive hidden underground chamber. The drawings showed hot air extraction systems, which is a huge red flag for rooms packed with powerful, heat-generating computer servers. They also showed plans to rebuild a basement wall just a single meter away from critical data cables. And get this, there were hidden bathrooms and even a tunnel system, suggesting this whole area was designed for people to work underground for long periods, completely out of sight.
As you can imagine, these discoveries led intelligence and security officials to sound the alarm, warning that the embassy's very design could be a direct threat to the UK's national and economic security.
Okay, so here's the real problem. That secret underground chamber, it's positioned right next to a dense network of fiber optic cables. Cables that are basically the digital nervous system for London's financial and communication hubs.
The kind of data running through these cables is incredibly sensitive. We're talking about financial data from the City of London, private emails, and even official government communications. And these aren't just any cables. They're run by major providers like BT, Colt, and Verizon.
So, how could they actually spy on this data?
Well, experts have laid out a few frightening possibilities. During construction, the cables could be physically rerouted into the embassy. Or, simpler still, a physical wiretap could be attached. There are also more high-tech methods, like bending the fibers just enough to make light leak out, which would allow the data to be read without ever breaking the connection.
Once these revelations became public, the issue absolutely exploded in the British Parliament.
Things moved fast. An urgent debate was called in the House of Commons to deal with this potential national security threat. This wasn't some routine discussion. It was treated as a top priority, which shows you just how worried lawmakers were.
And you know, this isn't your typical political fight. A really rare consensus has formed here. We've got MPs from across the board, Conservatives, Labour, the Lib Dems, all the major parties, standing together to voice their serious concerns.
Labour MP Sarah Champion really summed up the mood in Parliament. She said that her security briefings consistently identified China as a hostile state, and because of that official intelligence, she was certain the embassy project had to be stopped.
So now the final call rests with the UK government, and they are facing a really complex choice with massive geopolitical consequences.
So just to quickly recap how we got here, China bought the site back in 2018. But everything really kicked into high gear in early 2026, when that newspaper expose led directly to the emergency debate in Parliament. Now, all eyes are on the government for a final decision, which is expected any day now.
The government is really caught between a rock and a hard place. On one hand, you have its own intelligence agencies, MI5 and MI6, raising the alarm about espionage. But on the other hand, it has to think about its relationship with the second largest economy in the world. If they block the embassy, it could put trade deals and even a planned prime ministerial visit to Beijing at risk.
With the deadline looming, a choice has to be made, one that will say a lot about the UK's priorities. So the ultimate question is this. When it comes to its relationship with China, what does the British government value more? National security or diplomacy and trade?